Anime versus the West. For decades, these two worlds were miles apart. On one side, the big-budget magic of Disney and Pixar. On the other, the hand-drawn masterpiece of Japan. But what if I told you the line between them has completely disappeared? Welcome back to Moozynoo. Today, we will witness the Battle of the Giants. We're talking about how secret Japanese technology got into your favorite Hollywood blockbusters, and why Western animation is becoming more and more like anime every day.
I know that the paranormal is real. Listen.
We'll dive into the biggest controversies. Did Disney actually steal The Lion King from a 1960s anime? And how did a Japanese movie about a girl in a bathhouse win an Oscar over the biggest Western studios? Yeah, we're talking about Spirited Away. From the Spider-Verses to the epic storytelling of Arcane, the anime style is taking over everything. Even our favorite mascots are getting an anime makeover. It's not just a trend, it's a global revolution. Are you Team Hollywood or Team Tokyo? Today, we reveal 5 chapters of the ultimate showdown. Buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at a cartoon the same way again. Let's get into Chapter 1, The Great Inspiration. All right, let's kick things off with the elephant in the room, or should I say the lion. In 1994, Disney released The Lion King, and it became a global phenomenon. But over in Japan, fans were rubbing their eyes in disbelief. Why? Because it looked almost identical to a 1965 anime masterpiece called Kimba the White Lion by the legendary Osamu Tezuka. I'm talking about shot-for-shot similarities. The iconic Pride Rock? Check. The evil uncle with a scarred eye? Check. The wise baboon? Check. Disney claimed it was all a coincidence and that they had never heard of Tezuka. But let's be real, even the names Simba and Kimba are just one letter apart. This was the first major clash where the West realized that Japan wasn't just making kids' shows, they were making blueprints for the future of cinema. But it didn't stop at lions. Let's move from the savannah to the cyberpunk future. Have you ever seen a little movie called The Matrix? The Wachowskis, the directors, famously showed their producer the 1995 anime Ghost in the Shell and said, "We want to do that, but in real life." The green digital rain, the plugs in the back of the neck, the philosophical questions about what it means to be human, all of that DNA comes straight from Japanese animation. This wasn't just borrowing anymore, this was Hollywood admitting that anime was light years ahead in terms of mature, complex storytelling. The West had the money and the tech, but Japan had the vision and the guts to tell stories that Warner Bros. Wouldn't dare to touch at the time. It's a funny cycle, honestly. Even the anime style itself, those big expressive eyes we all love, actually started because Osamu Tezuka was obsessed with Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse and Betty Boop. He took those big Western eyes, evolved them, and gave them back to the world with 10 times the emotion. So in a way, the West inspired the East, which then inspired the West back again. It's like a never-ending ping-pong match of creativity. But while the West was focused on smooth animation and happily ever afters, Japan was experimenting with camera angles, dramatic shadows, and characters who could actually, well, die. And that's exactly what started to change the landscape of our Saturday morning cartoons forever. For decades, Western animation followed one golden rule: fluidity. Disney spent millions making sure every movement was smooth and realistic. But then, Japan changed the game by doing the exact opposite. They used what we call limited animation. Instead of moving everything, they focused on dynamic camera angles, epic speed lines, and extreme facial expressions. To the Western eye, it was a shock. While Disney was focused on how a character moves from point A to point B, anime was focused on how that movement feels. This style was faster, cheaper to produce, but infinitely more energetic. Suddenly, kids in the West didn't want cute anymore. They wanted the high-stakes, screen-shaking intensity of Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon. Hollywood realized that realism was boring, style was king. By the early 2000s, the West stopped fighting and started joining. Enter Avatar: The Last Airbender. To an untrained eye, it looks like a high-budget Japanese production, but it was born right here in the West. The creators were so inspired by Studio Ghibli and Cowboy Bebop that they adopted everything: the martial arts choreography, the deep world building, and even the classic anime humor, like the giant sweat drops or the over-the-top angry faces. Even Teen Titans on Cartoon Network traded traditional comic book looks for big eyes and crazy action sequences. This was the moment the anime style became a global language. It wasn't just that weird Japanese stuff anymore, it was the standard for what a cool show should look like. But the real revolution happened when 3D animation met anime. For years, Pixar and DreamWorks tried to make everything look like a perfect plastic toy. But then, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse dropped and broke the internet. They combined 3D models with 2D techniques, comic book textures, hand-drawn lines, and dropped frames to mimic the rhythm of anime. Now, look at Puss in Boots: The Last Wish or The Bad Guys. They aren't trying to look real anymore, they are trying to look like a moving painting. That crunchy, stylized look, that's the anime influence winning the war. Western studios finally admitted that Japan's focus on artistic expression is way more powerful than just counting how many hairs are on a character's head. So, who won the battle? The truth is, we all did. The war between East and West ended in a beautiful fusion. Look at modern advertising. Even the most traditional Western mascots are getting an anime glow-up. Have you seen the McDonald's commercials in Japan? They look like high-end Studio Ghibli films. Even our childhood friends like the Nesquik bunny or the M&M's crew are being animated with more squash and stretch, more expressive eyes, and more cinematic flair. The line between a cereal commercial and high art is blurring. Brands realize that the emotional language of anime is the fastest way to a person's heart, whether you're selling a 50-episode epic or a box of chocolate. We are living in the golden age of animation. It doesn't matter if it's made in a studio in Tokyo, a skyscraper in California, or by a solo creator in their bedroom. The anime versus West debate is over because the styles have merged into one global powerhouse of creativity. We are seeing stories that are more mature, visuals that are more experimental, and characters that feel more human than ever before. From the revenge-filled beginnings of DreamWorks to the stylized streets of Spider-Verse, animation has officially conquered the world of entertainment. And the best part? We're just getting started. This is what Muzinho is all about. We're here to track this evolution frame by frame. Whether it's the secret history of a candy mascot or the hidden meaning behind a classic anime scene, we're diving into it all. If you love the art of making things move as much as I do, then you've found your home. This was just the beginning of our journey together, and I've got some insane deep dives planned for the next few weeks that you definitely don't want to miss. Now it's your turn to settle the score in the comments. Is the anime style better than traditional Western animation, or do you miss the old school Disney look? Let's start a conversation down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to join the nation, and ring the bell so you're the first to know when we drop our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, stay creative, and stay animated. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.